Hello, everyone. Welcome to Harmonic Heart. We're a music blog dedicated to showcasing musicians' stories and talent. I'm your host, Chris Millette. I'm excited and grateful. Today we have on the show Rakhel Israel, a percussionist. So welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Rakhel Israel here.
Amazing. And um, yes, Rakhel is a percussionist based in the DMV area. So yes, I'm excited and grateful to have Rakhel on, and we have some people, some members of the tribe on as well. I think just listening in. So yeah, just really grateful. I don't know if you want to kind of shout out kind of the tribe on the call today.
Sure. If these lovely people don't mind, well, the first guest we have is Miss Allison Key, who is a DC therapist. She does massage therapy,
Mm,
yoga massage, Thai massage, and she's also a master yoga instructor.
mm, mm,
And um, I would say she's definitely a great example because she's I guess you say if you saw her you wouldn't think she's the age she was. So I'm always looking
mm,
up to her for her nurturing and her intelligence in the health field. So
mm, mm.
that's who we have here.
Wonderful. Mm, mm.
You're so kind. Thank you, Raquel. Beautiful. I appreciate
Was
that.
that true? Was that true about you? I mean, you can add more. I don't know.
Well, I can say I would concur with you. And again, I really appreciate that. It is really an honor and just very humbling. I mean, I know that we only get one temple, and it is our responsibility to take part in how we care for that temple. And, in light of everything that we're experiencing right now, it's even more prevalent that we fortify and are mindful of the things that we put in our bodies
Mm,
to help
mm,
keep us fortified. So my thought process and belief is that things will come our way, but when they come, are we ready? Are we prepared for when they come? Is our body internally strong enough? Are we getting the nutritionally dense food that's necessary to build up our red and white blood cells and keep us strong? Are we balancing out our stress hormones, our cortisol? Are we just letting go of the things that we don't have control over so that we stay and remain balanced? So yeah, it's important to me, the lifestyle that I live, and I hope that as I pass along the way that I can help somebody along. So thank you again for that.
mm,
Absolutely. You're
mm.
welcome. And then other wonderful person we have here on this podcast is Miss Elisabeth Hando, who is the CEO and director of the um, Renaissance Center for Culture and Education, and she's been doing that for some years now, and it's a great program here that helps young children with their early years development, early childhood development, and it's making a huge impact positively on the community, raising cultural awareness and also bringing um, many levels of support, including educational support to families in the DMV area. So have some big heavy hitters on this call today. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm grateful to have each of you on the podcast and show today. And yeah, it's an honor to have each of you, and I can, share a few words myself. Let me see. I guess since high school, I wanted to have a music blog, because, that's where I learned about a lot of my musical tastes. But as I moved to DC, I kind of informally have been mentored by the founder of the DC Music Summit, Dr. Ashley Brown. So,
Good.
you know, and during one of her, she was on a podcast maybe around 2017. I don't know the year, but she talked about the importance of documenting Black women's stories. So that's always stuck with me. Um, this podcast is called Harmonic Heart, and there's levels to that. Of course, you know, just me as someone that loves music. Um, Also, I want these interviews to be very affirming and positive and harmonious, but there's also a deeper meaning with ancient Kemet. There's this concept of Ma'at, um, and it's all about divine order and balance. So, you know, as well, Raquel and I, before we've spoken about just the impact of of music on the brain and body, and so it's, you know, fascinating as well to hear about Miss Key's work in terms of well-being and balance, and um, just making sure that our bodies are well taken care of. So yeah, I'm very, you know, grateful to have you all on the show. Yeah, so definitely feel free to, you know, kind of, you know, contribute, you know, as you know, see fit as well. So, you know, for Raquel, I think, you know, a great place to start would be kind of how you got into music and how you be started as a percussionist.
Oh, wow. Well, I would have to definitely say that music was in my genes, and my environment growing up activated those specific genes because my father is a natural born artist. He singer, artist, like a drawing artist, guitar. He played guitar and bass and also piano. And when me and my sisters were very young, uh, my dad would have us listen to all types of music. I mean, from so many genres, you know, not just one specific. So that really, I guess, broadened my view on music and my listening range. And so that's how I got started. And I, you know, always found a way to create a rhythm out of anything that was around me, you know, things that were in a house, you know, even my own body. Like I would discover how I could make music with my teeth, like with my cheeks, with my hands.
Mm.
Like I used to make rhythm with everything like I could find. And um my mom, like bless her heart, she could only take like a small fraction of, you know, noise. So um but my environment was very encouraging for music. It was always being played in the house. You know, we were always encouraged to sing. We were always encouraged to, you know, play music. And so, you know, that's how I got started initially as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A family affair. Wow. And what was it like with you picking up, you know, I guess specific instruments and your training with that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually had formal training in grade school. Um, I had, I think it was like the sixth grade. I was in a choir class, so I was actually playing clarinet. I was playing clarinet, and I learned a lot. You know, we studied sheet music, we studied um, different artists. We even sang, like we sang in a choir in grade school. So as far as picking up an instrument, that's where it started as far as reading. And after sixth grade, you know, I really didn't get into music like that because I'm not sure if you went to Duke Ellington, but I know Dora did, but so many, you know, kids in DC that were, you know, naturally artists, they went to Duke Ellington, and that was like my dream school. I mean, like I used to beg my parents to go, but I didn't go. So, but actually, I was blessed to have a friend who lived in my neighborhood who attended Duke Ellington School of the Arts. So I would go with her to all of the events there. I would go meet all of the artist kids that go there, and then I was introduced to different, art, I guess art venues in DC, like back when U Street was really popular. Um, what you call it? Capital City Records. They used to
Mm-hmm.
be the Lincoln Theater, Duke Ellington's Theater. So Adams Morgan, all of that art stuff in DC, like I was introduced to by being around that artist group from Duke Ellington. So yeah, that was like junior high school when I was around the Duke Ellington crew. But again, before that, I was studying clarinet and singing. So, you know, I started picking up an instrument after school, like after high school, after I graduated. I actually got back into the drums. And this time it was drum set. And it's funny, I never studied any type of drums. Like even in school when we studied sheet music, it was not drum sheet music, So I had to basically teach myself from scratch how to play a drum set. And it's funny, it took me at least like I would say maybe an hour. It took me like an hour to break down the separate parts like the snare, the kick, and the hi-hat. So it took me about it took me about an hour to break all that down and then put it into an actual rhythm. And
Mm-hmm.
so that happened, when I was 20. So and then once that happened, I started, being a part of local bands. I was gigging. Then I discovered this African-centered community in DC who was very grassroots, culturally traditional, and we used to play traditional African drums. And I was gigging with them. I even ended up traveling with some of the members of that group to Israel, which is in North Africa, and I was able to be a percussionist for the choir there. I was able to be a percussionist for a youth tap group. I also was teaching children, how to play drums while I was there. So that led me to a lot of things artistically and internationally, which was like awesome. So yeah, that's how I got started. So I definitely say once I got into the drumming field, that opened a whole nother world of just learning music, studying with master musicians from like I studied with master musicians from Ghana, from Guinea, and I also when I was in Israel, I studied with the master conga player there. And I met I'm not going to say a lot of Israelis, but I met like two Israelis from the country who actually played African drums, and they really
Mm-hmm.
impressed me. And so,
Oh.
yeah, that was my start. And I'm still involved in it now. So,
Hmm.
yeah, my start.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, that's
Uh,
incredible. So I mean, you said it took you an hour to figure out the different parts of the drums. I feel like that's even fast. I
I
mean,
mean, but when I tell you I was exhausted afterwards, I guess that was like, the brain, when you use your brain, you can get tired. So,
hmm
yeah, I mean, I can at least count. I was like, I'll be honest with you, I listened to a simple, like typical rhythm and blues backbeat,
hmm
and I just separated the parts. Like I listened very closely and separated. So yeah, it took me about an hour to figure those different parts out. Yeah, maybe 2 hours. I might be thinking like I'm
Well,
thinking like it seems short to me, but maybe like 2 hours, taking a break or something.
no, wow. So, and that seems, can you tell us some more? I mean, that seems like quite the jump, to, just be learning the drums and then to go to gigging and then be international. What was some of the work that took and I guess to reach those different checkpoints or parts of the journey and um I imagine it was just a lot of dedication and but also what were some lessons that you've learned along the way through just starting to gigging and being studying under some master drummers as well, master percussionists.
That's a great question. That's a great question. So I would say like the journey. So when I initially, was practicing drums, and I was basically around, how can I put this? People that knew me, like the first person I gigged with was somebody from my church who really, who saw that I was like being diligent and things like that, and was like, hey, yeah, you should practice with us. So, I started practicing with them, and I would definitely say one of the challenges was the timing, because with percussion and drumming, one of the key things, well, one of the key skills is timekeeping that's needed for that specific area of music. So that was one of the challenges. And when I first started gigging with my church member, that really helped me work on my timing. And I was also shown some techniques like stick techniques and ways to hit the snare drum. And so I would say that was one of the skills I picked up, was like different technique and timing, working with that first group from my church.
Mm-hmm. I see. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, and what are some of the things or um what are some things that you're involved in currently? I mean, I would say, I guess perhaps before the pandemic, kind of your main gigs and things.
Oh, okay. So before the pandemic, I was gigging with a few different groups in Washington, D.C. One group is the Malcolm X Drummers and Dancers. Another group was the Coma Drummers. I used to gig with Tamika Love Jones at times. Also, I used to gig with Dior Ashley Brown. I would gig with Southeast Trinity, and who else did I? Oh, and Need Them By It. Yeah, last but not least, Need Them By It, which is kind of like my foundational group where we do all types of African drumming from like what's that place? Cote d'Ivoire. We play some rhythms from there. We have a teacher that comes study he comes, teach us often. Last time he was here was last winter. So he comes, from time to time and does rhythm with us. He's from Cote d'Ivoire. Then we have another teacher from Mali named Papa Dom that works with us. And another, who's the other guy that works with us? Dr. Joe B. Yeah, Dr. Joe B. So yeah, a lot of we have a lot of artists come work with us and teach us like rhythms from the continent, so we can be as authentic as possible and be able to keep those traditions. So yeah.
Mm. Well, yeah, that actually brings me to my next question. Well, firstly, you're just a very busy person, with all of these different groups. But yes, what
Yeah, a
have you
lot.
found to be what have you found to be, your connection with percussion and heritage? What are some things that you found?
Okay, well, first of all, my personal heritage is Cherokee Native American from my mom and my dad's side, and also African heritage. So
Mhm.
Native Americans, they drum a lot, especially for spiritual purposes, where they were able to, I guess you could not really manipulate the elements, but they were able to use the elements to their favor, and they would use music and drums as a way to do this. And also with my African heritage, this has really connected me back to learn. the different rhythms and what they are used for. And me personally, when I play specific rhythms and I know what they were used for or what they are used for, some of them I can really connect to and feel that energy, move through me while I play those specific rhythms.
Wow, wow. Yeah, can you, well, I've even just as someone that listens to drumming and kind of more kind of African drumming, I've I felt how it can be a spiritual experience. And in the 2020 DC Music Summit, you were one of the drummers as well that kind of introduced and set the tone for the day. And that was a very spiritual experience. And that's how we met. And you had some really interesting insights during our discussion about the meditative effects of music on the body and mind. Can you tell us some more about kind of that spiritual experience you have with drumming, and also kind of maybe bodily or mental responses you get from drumming too?
Sure. Well, spiritually, I can speak to one personal experience. Um, I believe prayer and divine music. And when I say divine music, I mean music that the body receives at a higher level, right? Because some music that is popular or common now, the energy of that specific music, even though the beat is like really cool and it sounds good,
Yeah.
it's not the highest frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for a person that's like struggling to always, kind of on a right frequency
Oh,
or
one second. I think, are you covering your microphone?
sorry, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you well now. Yep. Hmm.
Okay, yeah. I was just saying for somebody who desires to be divine, or to be righteous in their life, drumming is a good tool because that the vibration of drumming is actually on a high frequency. So
Mm-hmm.
you're always basically, you know, the music is doing your body good, when you're drumming. So, and me personally, when I drum, I do get into a meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like sometimes when the music is when it flows and it's all together, um, I can really focus in on the song that I'm playing on my specific drum. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a uniting experience with the music and yourself. When you play drums and when you actually are playing it correctly. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the meditative state, I would say, and it's refreshing. It's very refreshing because when you're finished, you feel refreshed, you feel brand new. It's very similar to with dancing or any form of art. It's similar to any form of art, like somebody who likes to sing or somebody who likes to draw or somebody who dances. Like when you become one with that art that you're doing in the moment, you just lose yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you can receive so much. You can receive so much depending on you know what's being given to you. So I definitely say I've definitely lost myself so many times when I'm into the music, into the rhythm, and I just I just get a whole nother level of energy, and I can't even explain it. Um
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's definitely a cleansing, refreshing, um elevatory experience.
Mm. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. I'm curious, throughout your music and percussion journey, what are some things that you've learned about yourself?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Um, me personally, drumming has helped me with empowerment, like my
Mm-hmm.
personal self, my internal self. It's kind of always given me this, shield around me, because me personally, I'm what they call an empath. Like, that's the
Mm-hmm.
new word nowadays. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
um I how can I say? Yeah, basically I'm an empath. I have a lot of compassion. I sense things, I feel a lot of things. So wait, and yeah, back to your question, what was your question again?
Yes. What are some things you've learned about yourself through your
Oh yeah.
percussion journey? Yeah.
Yeah, myself, it's build my basically has helped me build my force field on my shield, and be able to just hear more. I'm able to hear more spiritually, like I'm clearer when it comes
Mm,
to,
mm,
connecting with God, with prayer, things like that. I'm just more clear with that, relationship with God, I feel. And it, like I said, it has helped me with my compassionate abilities. It has helped strengthen that, and also give me a type of protection,
mm,
with it.
mm.
So yeah.
Ooh, mm, that's powerful. Mm, mm,
Oh, and last but not least, and it's also helped with my love of self,
mm,
because it's therapeutic,
mm,
um
mm,
again, as with any art, it's therapeutic. So if somebody's going through depression, or um a loss of something, that is the drums and music is a healer for that. So
mm.
that's one thing I've learned about myself as well with drumming.
Oh, wow. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's powerful. You started touching on it earlier. What are some highlights you've had throughout your journey?
Oh yeah. So I think I mentioned one of the highlights was I was able to travel. Um, Another highlight is sharing this gift with children and young adults with special needs.
Mm, mm,
And when they say special needs, the way I think of special needs is like they need a special, they need a special energy.
ooh,
They just
ooh.
don't need, they don't need something typical. They need a special energy. So I've been able to give a special energy with drumming to children and young adults of that community.
Mm,
And the response when I do, it's like words can't express it. They're so appreciative
mm,
and so grateful, and just really receive the music and really let it move through them.
mm, mm,
So that is definitely has been one of my highlights. Another one of my highlights has been how I was able to help children, like teach children different rhythms, and see how, when it's something that they like, the children they'll do, they pick it up, they participate.
mm,
I love working with children with the music, because they're so responsive, and
mm,
give you the same energy right back.
mm, mm. Wow. Mm. Those sound like moving experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to have had those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those definitely some highlights. And also too, with my own family, being able to incorporate the drum. Right now I have 4 nieces.
Oh,
So
nice.
I incorporate the drum when I visit them,
Mm, mm.
when I talk with them. And now when they ask about me, they ask about the drum.
Oh,
So just to introduce something like that, into their life,
right.
where during this time, a lot of children don't get to see cultural things or get that experience, unless somebody brings it to them or they know someone. So for me to be able to bring that cultural experience and knowledge to them, that's a huge highlight for me.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for you know people maybe who are interested in learning the drums and percussion, what advice would you give them?
Mm. I would say to definitely get a teacher, a good teacher that will work with them, be patient with them, and show them proper technique for playing, because that's one of the most important things that I've realized in my artist journey, because every artist wants their sound to be superb.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
artist wants to have the best sound, the best technique.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I hear it every time I'm around, the drumming community. That's the number one thing is technique. And so I would say get a good teacher that can teach you really good technique and how to play, because not only is technique important for good sound, technique is important to, play without an injury. And so, yeah, I would say definitely get a good teacher and travel, you know, network, talk to people who play and get with those people, because people will be willing to show you what they know, because that's how I learned. I was talking to my friends, talking to people I knew, getting with people. And when they see your natural skill and your sincere diligence, they'll definitely embrace you. So I would definitely say make sure it's something that speaks to you if you want to drum. Make sure it speaks to you, because that way every single step will be authentic, and you'll learn to the maximum ability.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's excellent advice. It's interesting, actually. The past, including this one, the past 3 interviews I've done, each person has said, just kind of emphasize the importance of having a teacher to learn technique. So that's really interesting. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's it's interesting because I'm kind of thinking like, oh, but this is this a spiritual message of like, Christian, take some lessons right now? So it's just all coming up right now in these past 3 interviews. So um, I think that's awesome. This is a very kind of unique opportunity that we have the tribe to have mentors. So I'm putting them on the spot. We haven't planned this, but you are open to ask a question or just contribute any words if you'd like. We're kind of ending out our interview here, so you don't have to. We're just putting on the spot, but it is nice to that we have your presence, and we're grateful for that. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Chris and Raquel. And this just confirms what I always thought. Raquel knows I've been trying to possibly connect with her with my yoga class to have her drum. So this is my confirmation here. Everything I thought is actual, and the authenticity. You could all, I mean, when you meet someone, you can tell their spirit is authentic and that they're original and that they are sincere about who they are, walking in their own skin. And that's what I know of Raquel. I've always known that. I've known that since she was much younger. And I think I've known you, what, about 10 years or 12 years or
Yeah.
13 years? It's been a while.
Yeah. Wow.
And so, her spirit is so genuine. And that is just evident in her person, her whole being. I mean, that she lives and walks in that. And that's what's so amazing about it. And so, I just look forward to the opportunity to be able to collaborate with her and have her drum for my yoga class. I know it is going to be amazing. It's going to be the whole yoga class. We'll end in some meditation and she will take us all the way there. I'm just so excited. It will seal it with hearts and kisses. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Yes, yes. That's awesome. You bring me to a thought I had. I actually was a part of a yoga retreat about in 2015. I was a part of a yoga retreat, and it was out in Rockville, Maryland. And it was so fun because we were able to be at this really nice house that had like a doors that open to the creek in the woods over top. I just wanted to give you a picture of how serene it was, but we had this yoga meditation session at the end of the retreat, and I was I was actually drumming and the people like were doing yoga, and then afterwards, you could just feel the shift, how everybody just kind of their heart opened up, you could feel it just flow. Everybody like was showing so much love, and people were just dancing, and somebody even got so inspired they started like switching the light because it was a lot of good energy
Wow.
moving around. So yeah, it just reminded me of that. And so drum can be it's really, really fun and therapeutic when it comes to yoga because it really, kind of gets you open and refreshed.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. Just to add to it, my background is in dance. Every genre, just about African jazz, tap, modern ballet, all of that. And so, the African, of course, is just the best. From Baltimore to DC. I used to dance with Melvin Deal, African dance and drummers. I used to dance at the dance place with their African dancers. So yeah, I mean, it's just I know what it can do. I dance at my church with the African dancers. So yeah, I mean, I just know the power that drumming has, and I just really look forward to coming together and making it happen.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Miss Key. Yes. All right. Okay. Raquel, any words that you want to share with the people maybe that we didn't touch on today?
Any words that I want to share? Um, well,
Or maybe any
I'll just
parts of your
say,
story as well that we didn't touch on? Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to say that, like I said before, I was moved from a infant, I mean, I would say a child, to play music. And I just feel like it was a part of, my being, from, when I was born. It was just a part of me. And that's who I was. And one of the main things throughout my life, one of the main themes was music, you know. Even in high school, I can remember the burning desire to, be in the high school band. So, you know, an ongoing theme has always been music. So, and so many doors had opened up, and I would have to say, I believe it's my destiny, to be on this path because, the way I was embraced by so many different cultures from, you know, namely a lot of cultures from the continent of Africa, with the drumming, a lot of artists from the continent of Africa who have like embraced me like to in a way I can't even explain, like giving me a part of them to just sharing that energy with me on this path has been like one of the key things, on how I've been learning. Just imparting that energy is like such a blessing. So, I'm just grateful to be on this path, and I would have to say, even like I've studied with people from you would I don't want to say, how can I say this? People from European cultures. Let me put it like that. I've studied with people from European cultures. I've learned so much. I've drummed with Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? I've I've played drums with people with Turkish backgrounds. Ethiopian. I've drummed with people with Ethiopian backgrounds, and it's just been so much culture across the board where like it has filled me so much that even I recently played in a band like last year, and the band, it was a choir, not a choir, but it was a church band. And the band director, he told me, he said he was so happy that I played with them because I was I was so well versed in many different music, so much different music from different cultures. Like we would play a Latin style, we would play jazz, we would play fast up tempo, and I was able to find where to fit in because of my background of music. So I have to say thank you to every single person who put that energy in me, who nurtured me along the way. And so I'm grateful, and I encourage anybody that is thinking about doing their art right now, if it's really in them, if it's your genuine love and passion, like just do it. Because it was given to you by God.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing, and you say this gift given to you by God from being just a baby to feeling this, as you've gotten into, even specifically drumming and how just these different paths have opened up for you. And this seems like a very kind of natural pull and tendency and kind of this spiritual aspect and state that you get into, but then also how you're able to connect with various humans. So that really does speak to, you talked about it being your destiny and your purpose in terms of, this spiritual aspect of you yourself and God, the higher power, but then also with other human beings from various cultures. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Gosh. Wow. Okay. Well, how can people keep up with you and your work and book you if needed? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for asking.
Yes.
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram page is healing, HEALING_chi. That's my Instagram. So at healing_chi. My email address is d.cuisine@yahoo.com. And so, yeah, that's how you can get in contact with me. And you can also find my videos if you want to see some of the work I've done in the past with different artists. You can just go on YouTube and Google my name, Rakhel Israel. You spell it with the Rachel Israel on YouTube. You can find a lot of my videos. You can research Nidambaya. You can research Ebra Rhythms for Life. You can research Warrior Band. Um, yeah. And you can even go on my Facebook, which is Rachel's Live Cuisine. Rakhel. No, it's not a part. RAKHELSLIVECUISINE on Facebook.
Mm, mm.
So I hope you got all that, but that's how you can reach me.
Yes. Well, Raquel, honored to have you on. Thank you for sharing your story and your energy with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to
Oh,
be able to share with this.
mm. Wonderful. And thank you again, Miss Key and Miss Elizabeth, for joining us as well.
I do have one more question. How
Oh,
do I
yeah.
find the podcast? Where do I look for
Hmm.
it? I'm an Android person, so
Oh, sure. Do you have Google Podcasts?
I'm not sure. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I know I have Spotify podcasts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's on Spotify
Mm-hmm.
under Harmonic Heart. So
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
on Spotify under Harmonic Heart, and it's also on YouTube as well.
Oh,
Harmonic Heart.
excellent.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So you'll be able to, also search, Raquel Israel, um, Harmonic Heart Interview, and then it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, all of that.
And one more question. If
Sure.
I wanted to refer some other musicians to you,
Yes.
how do we get in contact with you?
Oh, thank you. Yes, sweet. Yes, I have. You can email me at harmonic heart blog at gmail.com. And yeah, just say Miss Allison Key sent me, and then I'll keep my eye out for them.
All right, certainly. Thank you so much. It's been
Oh,
a
sure,
pleasure
sure.
to be here and witness all of this great energy.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, honored to have you on as well. Sweet. Well, everyone, take care and follow.